The following podcast may contain adult language, spoilers, and truth. A whole lot of truth. Enjoy. You won't hurt my feelings if you don't put me on the board.
No, I will.
Just so you know. No, I'm not dead serious.
I gotta fucking, the Matt Hardy deal was funny as shit.
What color do you want? Alright, so we're gonna call
back it up, so? Is it any?
What do I do? I just hit record again. Previously on the Safe House. I know you love me too.
Put a graphic up right.
I know. Alright. Okay, Matt. Matt. Hold on. I'm responsible for his success. Okay, Matt. Give Jeff my love. Oh, bye-bye. Sorry. Okay, Matt. Matt. Hold on. I'm responsible for his success. Okay, Matt. Give Jeff my love. Oh, bye-bye. Sorry. Had to call him back. What happened here?
But,
so, LJ...
I put up with 30 minutes of him bitching me out because I'm not driving in the HOV lane in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Before.
You should have been, though, if you got four guys in the car.
Because Jake was following me.
Oh, single man Jake.
But no, there was like,
so
well, he was driving
on Jake.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then we go to a pizzeria, and it's me, Jake, Cole, whatever, and I'm like, okay. I sit there, and at some points in life, this is my point of view. I take a third person perspective because some points in life that a lot of people look over, you need to sit back and just be like, it's just ridiculous that I'm here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm sitting in a New York pizzeria. I spent
the night at Matt Hardy's house. That was my point in life.
So I'm sitting in a New York pizzeria with X amount of people. So I say to myself, when I'm sitting there waiting on pizzas, I'm sitting in a New York pizzeria with an Arab guy who cusses when taking your order, with a wrestler who plays a generic Hispanic wrestler, and why the fuck am I here? You know what I mean?
This is a side
this is the wrestling.
Right,
this is the wrestling business.
Right.
But Jacksonville with Ty. We'll get back on track. Jacksonville with Ty. I do a show for him there. We do TV.
Wall stuff. What was that?
My beard's itching.
Oh, that was Sly.
But
yeah.
That's how I'm gonna start itching my.
You might start scaring some people.
I'll be at work where I'm a supervisor, and I'll be like, "Hey, hold on, my beard itches."
Itched.
Am I fired? No, but
fire crotch.
But Hardy got a fire crotch.
Lita did. Not that I knew firsthand.
Sweet.
Oh my God, that I have a crush on Lita. Lita, if you're out there, call me.
You are hot.
I don't know how we lost touch, but you know you love me. Please call me.
Call me. But I tried to
listen to other people, not me.
But I did TV for Ty, the PWS TV down in Jacksonville. Then it just was over. Like PWS was over.
Yeah.
And
just stopped.
Yeah, and then I don't really give two shits about the wrestling business anymore. Again,
we're back on this vicious cycle.
And I graduate college, and like I said, I have a $400 payment a month. So I start doing stuff for High Spot, so I can get a little bit of money here and there.
Sure.
And then Jake's like, "Hey, we do the NEW shows up in New York. Can you ride with us?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not?" So I started riding with him up there, like probably once every 2 months, and doing those things, and it's cool. And I see wrestling. I'm around wrestling again. So I've always wondered what it'd be like to start my own company, like do my own thing, see how it is. But I've never had the financials. But when I graduated art school, I started a production company, and my production company was doing very well. Like after the first year, like I don't need to put numbers on it, but it's doing well enough.
Sure, yeah,
enough that I had bought all my equipment and I just made money.
Okay.
I never spent it.
Right.
Like because if you own a business, you have to spend the money that you make, or else you'll pay a shit ton of taxes at the end of the year. So I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, how can I just spend money? And I was like, I can start my own wrestling. If you're gonna throw away money.
I ran a show once. I started a company and I ran it once. This was like in man, I'm talking like 2001, 2002.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Made Pro Wrestling, Modern Action, Diverse
Is
Entertainment.
that where your shirt's from, or is that from the Made?
That is actually from the Guitar clothing line, but I wear it because it represents.
Yeah, gotcha.
Made still holds its place in my heart.
What did it stand for?
Modern Action, Diverse Entertainment. It was sort of the little brother of Omega. That's what I was trying to make it be. I ran the one show and I said never again.
Yeah.
We didn't lose money. We flatlined perfect. Yeah. Everything was great, but I was like, wow, what it took to run just that.
Yes. People will never understand. Never understand. And so I thought of that and I was like, why can't I start a wrestling company? So on one trip, I believe it was to NEW. No, actually it was. I started doing camera for Ring of Honor, and we were going to Ring of Honor in Richmond, Virginia, and it was me, Cedric, Caleb, and Jake in the car because we were taking the ring up there. And I said, "What do you guys think about if I started my own company?" And they were just like, "If you want to." I was like, "Well, I have money, and I need to spend it, and it's something we can do. It's something you can all be a part of, and whatever." And so then we start throwing around ideas. What do we call it? I was like, I was thinking of. What's funny is because I love you know the concept of Noah.
Yes.
Like behind the name of Noah, Pro Wrestling Noah.
Maybe. About
when they jump ship. I think this is what I read.
Okay.
Like when they jump ship from whatever New Japan, All Japan, whatever they jump ship from. Like the name came from like Noah's Ark.
Oh yeah.
Because some of the wrestlers for that organization went with whoever. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not good with names or history. So that's why it's called Pro Wrestling Noah. And if you look at the logo, it has the ark and the dove.
Right, absolutely.
Which is just from a design concept and from creativity, it's brilliant. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I wanted to build upon.
It's like the arrow.
That's why the EVO logo looks a lot like the Noah logo. If you think about it, it's got the red tag at the top of Pro Wrestling and then the EVO logo. And because that was the basis behind it. And it was so weird because I was trying to pull something out of the Bible to name this thing, but I couldn't find anything, and evolution kept coming up in my head. And because I just researched the shit out of indies, I know that Danielson and them had the Pro Wrestling Evolution out in California that they tried to do. So I was like, I'm not calling it Pro Wrestling Evolution because that's been done.
That was Evolve?
Evolve, yes,
okay.
Because when we started, I was like, well, they have Evolve and EVO, but Evolve never ran around here. Like they were always Northeast or Florida, or I think they were just Northeast and Midwest maybe. But so I was like, no, people won't get it confused, and we'll call it EVO because I'm a big PWG mark. I like PWG. I like what they do. I like how they wrestle. I like the entertainment aspect of it. And which the PWG inspired a lot. Which it's funny because I got to talk to their main guy that does all their production stuff when I went out to California for Wrestle Reunion, which is awesome because they inspired the look on DVD of EVO, how they do their duties and stuff. But is somebody knocking here?
It is.
I was getting into a good story.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It's me who was not rented out. Was it?
Yeah. Look like clean lady.
I'll slap her in the face.
But evolution kept coming up in my head. And I was just like, and I'm a firm believer that you're led to what you need to do.
Absolutely.
So and I was like, I can't deny that this keeps coming up in my head. So I threw it to Jake and them on another trip, and they were like, oh, EVO's been done. It's blah blah blah. Let's try this, and we just threw around names. Blah blah blah.
So after the first initial conversation of, hey, what do you guys think of me starting a wrestling company?
It'll
never let that idea down.
It'll never. Well, the conclusion of that is it'll never be profitable. It'll never work.
Right. But you kept harping on it.
Yes. But I was like, it's a good idea.
You couldn't let it go.
Yeah. Okay. Because in retrospect, it's my mindset was nobody can do what I can do.
Sure.
Without spending a shit ton of money.
Sure.
Because I can do unbelievable posters, unbelievable website, and unbelievable video production, and not pay for it. I pay for it with time, but not pay for it.
Right.
Physically, and I just kept doing it. And I was like, I'm gonna start in October. October rolls around, and I don't have anything together.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm not gonna start it. So I spend 2 months looking for a venue. I want to do it. I don't want to do it in Charlotte because Charlotte is ran out, which Ty's proved me wrong. But Ty has a niche. Ty has the EVO niche.
Yeah.
But which we'll get into that.
Sure.
But I found Salisbury, a little. You weren't there.
No.
A little
about a year
building,
after.
a little building in Salisbury that was 30 foot wide and 100 foot long.
Okay.
So like there was 3 foot on each side of the ring for people to walk in.
Right.
And I wanted, and the idea for originally was I wanted to be underground. But the big idea was when we start this thing, we're going to make it look like there's $1 million behind it.
Okay.
From the get-go, which is what's wrong with professional wrestling now.
I agree. They just throw it up on the wall and say, it'll be good enough. It won't be good enough.
If you can't make a poster that is TNA or WWE quality, don't make a poster. If you have a square around a wrestler, then go fuck yourself.
The pixels where you can't because the hair is flowing, just forget it.
Don't, or hire somebody. I mean, that's
right. It's just as
easy
to put.
That's what makes people think wrestling is shit now.
It's just as easy to do live pro wrestling than it is to put my face on a poster. And I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, live pro wrestling is going to draw way more than this mug.
Yes.
Unless you're a John Stamos fan. Then.
True.
Slow motion.
Nice.
Oh, damn it, Matt.
Did you spill your beer?
No, Matt's calling.
You're such an asshole. But, so I get the venue, dirt cheap, and we're going to do our first show, which I'm pretty sure that 80% of the roster that was on EVO 8. I mean, well, Zach Salvation was the first person I called.
Which is funny because
we're long-time friends.
I was going to say, I'm glad we got to this point. It's funny because it seems like when you were around as Patrick Wright, Zach Salvation was around, you dipped out. At one point, Zach Salvation's star was pretty hot in the Carolinas.
Yes.
And then he disappeared.
Yes.
And it seems like you revived him.
Yeah. And we, because I'd been out of touch with everybody in wrestling. So I started calling. I knew I had Jake, Caleb, Cedric, which Cedric was like a year in. And Zach agreed to it. I'm trying to think who else was in it. I was in it. Me and Marcellus had become friends from me going up to CWA every once in a while. And through me and Marcellus had tagged at the end of when PWS was in Jacksonville.
Sure.
And so me and him had become good friends. And that's 7. There was one more. Crosby. Big Country, but we gave him another name, Kale Crosby, because we wanted him to do like a Kevin Steen style gimmick, because that's who he looks like, if you think about it. And he had the singlet and the T-shirt, and Kale, I think it was Kale something, was like a big time wrestler, like amateur wrestler.
Okay. And
the idea was, I said, Matt, just go out. He was an amateur wrestler in high school. I said, just go out there and just start suplexing the shit out of people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like Taz.
Exactly. It would get over, but he only did it for like 2 shows. And
the human suplex machine, that'll never get over.
Nice. But we did it at EVO 8 and pulled 100 people.
Yeah.
First show. No commercials, just posters. Just posters of town. In Salisbury for freaking North Carolina.
Right.
They don't draw at all. And it was like a really, really good show.
How easy was it for you to get Zach Salvation to come out of
well, I think what had happened to him is he got hurt.
Okay.
So he was on injured reserve for a while,
okay.
And then he had just gotten back with CWA in Orangeburg. And, but he, like, everybody was skeptical. Like, I remember specifically Jake cut a promo at the first of the show, and he said that I didn't even know this show was going to happen. Like, I didn't even think this show was going to happen or something like that. But the funniest thing about that was Chris Shore, who's the announcer for PWX, announcer for us, and worked for ProWrestling.net, and I passed out flyers because I filmed at the Ring of Honor show in Charlotte, which was 2 weeks before our show. And he saw one of the flyers, and he emailed me. And it's funny because I had I had a gimmick name for the owner because I didn't want anybody to know that I was the owner.
Right.
Because then you get into if you win a match, you're putting yourself over.
Right. You're the Kevin
And
Nash.
so I came up with a Ralph Fitzpatrick name for the owner.
Okay.
And which is so fucking hilarious.
Right.
It was me popping myself.
Yeah.
And we did the show, and I remember Shore emails me like, "Listen, I'm on this. I'm a reporter for this site, ProWrestling.net. I want to cover a company that's just getting off the ground and like document their life, like coming up." And I was like, "That's fine, man. And I was Ralph Fitzpatrick. Just find me at the show, blah blah blah." So he comes in looking for Ralph Fitzpatrick. Right. Everybody's like, I don't know no fucking Ralph. And Patrick's the guy that does everything. Right. And they're like, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm working for him. What's up?" And I talked to him. So then, but I do the shoot deal
Yeah.
at the end of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But he's like blown away by the show. He's like, that was one of the best indie shows I've ever been to in my life, and all this. And I didn't realize how good it was till I put the DVD together. I was like, man, like, you have people working 3 times. Funny thing about that tournament is Zach Salvation was going over for the title. Because to me, he was one of the better ones, and he had a name. You could build it back up.
Right.
And I was up at Zach's filming the first ever, what's his deal? Fireside chat.
Yeah, Fireside, yeah.
And he looks at me, he's like, I don't need to go over that tournament. And I was like, this, like, people that talk shit about Zach Salvation, fuck you, because this is Zach Salvation.
Right.
Zach's,
He's a little lesson.
He looks at me, we're sitting at this table, and he looks at me, he's like, I don't need to go over that tournament. He said, you know who you need to put over that tournament? And I said, who? He said, Cedric Alexander. And I said, why you say that? He's like, because he still believes he can make it. So nobody else in that tournament does.
Yeah.
And I took his word for it. I mean, I was like, if you want it, he said, let me put him over in the finals.
Yeah.
Because I already had Zach going to the finals.
Right.
And that's the reason Cedric Alexander. And me and Cedric have sat down and had to talk. I take no credit for Cedric's success.
Sure.
But I think that I gave Cedric like confidence in himself.
And a platform.
Yeah.
To own his
like
skills.
he had done it for a year. He had done a few good shows, but he had never given the ball to run with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree.
Like I'm putting the title on you to carry a brand new company into the future.
I agree that, and we kind of talked about this briefly, me and ER in one of the safe houses. I agree that Cedric before EVO and then Cedric after EVO is night and day. Work.
See, I never saw him wrestle before EVO.
Yeah, it's night.
But yeah, I mean, well, I take that back. I did see him wrestle a few times in NEW when I was going up there with him. But
Cedric before didn't believe in Cedric. Cedric now believes in Cedric.
Yes, exactly. And like I said, me and Cedric, I told Cedric, I don't want to take credit for your success because you're a damn good wrestler and you have a damn good work ethic.
Absolutely.
But I think I built the foundation for that confidence in you by putting the belt on you and letting you carry it for 6 months. But we did that show, very successful, made money, which is unheard of.
Absolutely.
And then 2 weeks, we scheduled the next one. 2 weeks, it's called Life Before We Know, we call it the show that never happened. But 2 weeks before the show was supposed to take place at the same venue, they call and say there's an insurance issue. We can't do the show. I've already sold tickets, I've already done everything. So I call around, and the arena finally says, we'll give you a discounted rate just this time, and we'll see how you do.
Right.
Which was probably triple what I paid that other place. And I said, okay, I have money.
Sure.
And changed venue 2 weeks before, or it was about a week before, pulled like 40 people, and lost my ass.
Yeah.
And I said, and after, because when you spend, I mean, I pay, and I'll get into this because this is going to be on my soapbox whenever I talk about why I hate wrestling now. But I pay all my guys good. Like I believe in that. I believe in, like, I've been there where I don't get paid good. But if you come out here and you sacrifice your body and beat the shit out of yourself for me to get this product over, that I'm not really going to make any money off of because all the money I make goes back into it.
Right.
But you deserve a decent paycheck.
So being a fresh company, you've experienced the worst and the best back to back.
Yes, exactly. And it's like super high, and then you just get slapped, the shit slapped out of you down to
back to
reality. And after Life as We Know It, I said I'm not running anymore. Fuck this. I'll go on cruises or something.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? And the arena called me, and the GM wanted to talk to me. So I went and talked to the GM, and he's like, "What do I have to do to bring your product back to the arena?" So I said, "I'll pay X amount of money for the building. If we do over and above that in roster cost, we'll half profits." And they were cool with it. And that's that. And to their credit, and the arena is unbelievable to work with. Like
we're talking about Cabarrus?
Yes, Cabarrus Arena.
Okay.
Yeah, and like they're as much. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're as much part of the success, but they're not, because ultimately that's what hurt us in the long run is that building. But they put us out everywhere. They promoted us everywhere. They gave me a damn unbelievable deal on the building every time. And I don't know. I can't say that I ever paid them half of the profits.
Right.
I never had made profits actually.
Okay.
But like it was in March when we did the Life as We Know It, and July was our next event. Whenever they talked me into it, I put it far enough out that I had enough money that if I did lose my ass, I could cover everybody. Because I've never stepped foot into a show without having the total amount that I owed everybody.
Right. As a promoter should.
Yeah, and that way I think there was one time that I had gotten it over my head, and I said, listen, and on the next show I covered everybody for it. And I felt fucking horrible about it because I'm not a wrestling promoter, I'm a businessman. You know what I mean?
Once is too much, but I remember plenty of times a promoter going, I'm like, look, where's my pay? I gotta run to the ATM, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Come on, guy, it's midnight, I'm ready to go home, I got 4 hours ahead of me.
But there were times, like, it's so weird because the shtick worked. I mean, everybody thought we were a legit company. The ProWrestling.net deal gave us a lot of buzz because that was a news site, one of the top 3 news sites, and we were getting covered on it, full stories.
Right.
And like Ponderings picked us up, did a lot of good stuff for us, PW Ponderings, and like we just got buzzed, and I'm like, and to me it's just like, how in the fuck is this taking off so quick?
Right.
You know what I mean? I know I got all kind of like names in the Southeast on here, and then it got to the point where I said, I'm going to create, like, well, before I say that, let me say this: it was never about profit to me.
Okay.
Ever. Like I don't give a shit. You know, money is money. Money is paper.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I get paid next week. I'll spend money. You know what I mean?
Right.
I say I have my money I save. I never dipped into my personal business, my personal accounts to pay for EVO. That was all business money, and I lost a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. But it was always about. And I might have not pushed this when we started talking about how we were gonna start it, but it was always about creating a platform at the level of Ring of Honor or PWG for the Southeast talent to be seen. Because they don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. I don't give a shit what Wildside says.
No,
I don't care what anybody in Florida says. Nobody has the platform of Ring of Honor or PWG in the Southeast.
I agree. I always felt like
be seen and get booked.
I always felt like you took what Tyshawn started and amplified it.
Well, that's the thing is this. Like I learned everything about promoting from Tyshawn. Mm-hmm. Like because I am an observer.
Right.
I observe what people do wrong, what people do right. So I can sit here and sit in a locker room and not say a word, and at the end of that, I've learned a whole lesson on how to book stuff.
Sure.
Because I observe how people do things.
Right.
And one of the biggest thing I observed was I'm a promoter that is a decent wrestler, but I don't travel.
Right.
Why the fuck am I going to tell you what to do in a match?
Sure.
You know what I mean? That's one
thing.
thing.
That's creativity away from
the guy. Exactly. That's why I say I'll give you an avenue where you're going to go. You guys figure out how you get there.
True.
You know what I mean?
You always did.
And I don't need to tell you a finish of a match. If it's going to be intricate to build a story, like the finish. I mean, even all the finishes that EVO is known for, from the chair shot to Marcellus, where everybody got dead silent thinking Marcellus was really hurt.
Yeah.
And him feeding up and kicking Cedric in the balls and pinning him. That was Jake Manning's idea that we came up the day before when we were setting up the ring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm a firm believer in, if you're a promoter that's never, especially if you're a promoter that's never wrestled, you have no right to tell a wrestler how to end a match or what to do.
Or yeah.
Yeah, because
that's like story to tell.
That's like me going into a job that I've never done and telling somebody how to do it. You know
right,
what I mean? Exactly
what it is.
That's another thing that's wrong with wrestling today. So, and that's why that's what's wrong with WWE is you create. What I did was I used my skills, my God-given gifts, to create and market a platform. Mm-hmm. And then when it's time for the shows, the talent takes over.
Yes,
I agree. I don't say that as the talent like the wrestlers take over. I say their talent will take over the show.
Right.
Their talent will make this show good.
Right.
Great in some instances. And
it becomes very infectious.
Exactly, and that's why, and I don't look into why. Like I hear everybody say, "I love working for EVO. EVO is fucking amazing," and I've talked to you about it. Renewed my passion for wrestling.
It absolutely did. And I was out, man. I was done.
And I was just like, and I remember the phone call to you, and I was like, I called Ty. I was like, Ty, you got Kirby's number? He's like, yeah, I'll get it to you. I think I got it from Ty. And I called you, and I was like, listen, what do I need to do to get you guys down here? You said price, and I said, all right, done. I need you down here for a show. that was going to be a one-time deal.
Yeah.
Just like I need people that I know that won't overprice me, but I don't mind paying people.
Right.
And my big thing was, like, with KC would come all the way from fucking Wilmington.
Mm-hmm.
You guys would come from Spartanburg. Everybody else was around that area. Well, Corey and Chip came from Georgia.
Yeah.
Anybody, like, my thing is I pay my top guys good, but if you travel, I will pay you good.
Right.
Because you deserve it.
Right.
If you live in Charlotte and you're coming, then you get the minimum, which is
pay.
My minimum is what some people pay the most.
Right.
Like they're top guys.
Right.
And that's, I think that's why everybody respected me. And it's not even about, like, at the end of shows, after shows, and everybody would be like, that's one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. And I don't even think like that, because I'm sitting there thinking, what do we got to do next show? Or
trying to top it.
Yeah, or this is the platform. I mean, I spent fucking $12,000 of my own money to do iPay-per-view.
Jeez.
To do iPay-per-view,
Yeah.
that we had 100 people buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
100 buys from a no-name company with all people, like, names in the Southeast, but no big name nationwide. You know what I mean? We had 30 people from England buy it.
Nice.
Somebody from Australia, somebody from South America. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of that,
That's
and me and Shore talk about
design.
it. Yeah, me and Shore talk about it all the time, and a lot of that is due to the interest that was built on ProWrestling.net. But it's like my first degree is in business, in marketing. I know how to make something marketable.
Right.
And the thing is if you make something marketable to the wrestling industry, there's so much shit out there. If you make it look like $1 million and you carry that through the show,
right,
then people are gonna jump on board.
It's the cliche, but perception is reality.
Exactly. I mean, people look at my show, and ultimately this is when I started hurting. This is when people couldn't understand. When I was saying, I'm not running, I don't want to run anymore.
Right.
This and that, because I'm dropping $600 or $700, and even though I was in it to lose money, when you start losing money, you're like,
that's $600 I could have put somewhere else.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, well, I need a new camera. I need a new iMac. I need a new MacBook. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like that. I think that's what we did right. Is we created a website that looked top of the line, WWE like standard, TNA standard, graphics WWE TNA standard, video production WWE TV standard.
Yep.
But another aspect of it that I brought in that people can learn from is I'm a firm believer that the only reason that when people see John Cena they go ape shit is because they see him on TV every day.
Right.
Or every Monday.
Right. He's larger than life.
Yeah. So with the ability of YouTube and free outlets that are just like TV, you can create that same mindset.
Right.
Like, I can put you on a promo for 6 months, and people watch it, and even though you're, no offense, but just a dude from Spartanburg, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I
You're just a dude from Spartanburg
Yeah.
who's well-traveled, but you're still just a dude from Spartanburg.
Right.
Whenever you walk through that curtain after they've seen you on video for 5-6 months, you're larger than life.
They're attached.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's what I did. Like, for 2 months before EVO8, I put out promo, video package, video
Right.
package. So that when everybody sat in that little building for EVO8, you're just blown away because this is the guy that I've been seeing. You know what I mean? And
wait,
to
it's
us,
the anticipation.
and when it's all like when it all breaks down, you're just a regular dude that
Right.
lives a life. You're a teacher. You're a so and so. You're this or that. You know what I mean? And it's and another thing that people scold me for when I started my promotion is I said I'm never booking any names.
Yeah, I remember this conversation.
Ever.
Yeah.
Why do I need to book a name?
Right.
I mean, more power to the people that do it. I don't feel like wasting my money on paying $600 or $700 for somebody.
Plus training.
When I can get 4 guys that will work harder than that guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it works for some people. It works for Ty.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with the people that Ty use because they come in there and they bust their ass for Ty. But I've seen so many times people spend so much damn money and somebody phone it in or mail it in, and
absolutely.
I'm not even going to I don't set myself up for failure.
Sure.
And that's setting yourself up for failure, for potential failure.
Right.
And I've taken grief from that from day one.
But
that's something that I always respected, because like even when Roger first started coming out, and you know he was making all these hometown stars with Timber and even pushing Glute and pushing me and TJ, then all of a sudden he started bringing in Samoa Joe, and it's like, why do you have to work with the tools you got?
Exactly.
You've got the talent, and that's something I always like. I always really respect about Evo. I was like, you see the talent and you see the potential in these guys. True, they may mess up here and there, but you know what they're capable of, and you're giving them that opportunity. And you're not saying, hey, look, I know you're good, but this guy's got a name, so I'm bringing him in to overshadow everything.
Yeah, it's what people think is easy money.
Right.
And it's not, like, and that boils down to the point that it's never about money to me.
Right.
Like, it was about creating my own stars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, making Kirby Mack a big name.
Right.
Making Zack Salvation a big name. Making Cedric Alexander a big name.
Right.
And also giving Cedric Alexander that freedom to grow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
I mean, when we turned Cedric...
realize who he is.
When we turned Cedric heel, when Zack won the belt in the ladder match.
Right.
Everybody, from Jake to this person or that person, was like, Cedric can't be a heel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cedric, he would yell in his little high-pitched voice and do bullshit. And I'm like, you guys just don't see it.
Just wait. Just
Yeah.
wait and see.
I said, we've been setting this shit up for 4 months. I said, and even the crowd doesn't see it. So that's what's going to make it so... And then Cedric went heel and just fucking took off.
Yeah. That's kind of how... That's kind of what it's always been with Evo. It's just kind of been like, just wait. Wait and see. You'll see.
And it's like, I'm so open to everybody to where if you call me, like you've called me numerous times, be like, listen, I got an idea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's up? And you tell me, I'm like, I love it. How can we, you want to cut a promo? Yeah, cut a promo, put it up, or send it to me. You know what I mean? And it's,
piano, why not?
Exactly. And everybody, whenever somebody cuts a promo, they're like, how do you want to do it? I'm like, listen, I don't give a shit. Just get your point across.
Make it natural.
How you want to get your point across. And it's Zack Salvation. Zack, I didn't give Zack a gimmick. He just went out there and he's Zack. That's how Zack is. You know what I mean? Nobody else has let him do that. NWA Charlotte didn't let him do it. New Beginnings didn't let him do it. CWA didn't let him do it. I say, if you want to wear aviators to the ring, wear aviators to the ring.
Yeah,
if you want to elbow everybody, if you want to come out to the damn
I hate that thing song.
That song, then do it. Yeah,
I hate it.
And I said, but before that, I mean, it's so funny because shit grows right in front of you, but you don't see it.
Right.
Like I was putting together his intro video, and like the name flashes, and when the name flashes, that I had the concept. When people see the name flash, they'll clap.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts going, and people start clapping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's so, like, one of the most, like, not to kiss Zach's ass, but one of the most fulfilling times in EVO was at EVO 8 in the main event when Zach's music hit and he was against Jake, which people had just showed Jake, like, the ultimate respect because his career was on the line.
Yeah.
And then Zach's music hits and everybody walks up to the damn, did you see that?
Yeah.
Everybody walks up to the damn barricades.
Yeah, barricades.
And starts clapping to his music. Like 200 people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we have built that. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what everybody fucking overlooks in wrestling.
And that was one, and just kind of backtracking, that was one of the main things I really loved and respected and was so grateful, and why I worked so hard for you and for EVO is because you let me do things and try things out, and you let me be the character that I wanted to be. I never felt like I was restricted to anything at any point when I was working for you in EVO. I always felt like, man, I could be the guy that wears a shirt that says, look, I don't go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because I have talent. I can come to the ring with a fake spotlight, you know?
Exactly.
I can try these things out, and you're not gonna crap on them. You're gonna say, dude, do it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
But it's like promoters that try to or micromanage their promotion are killing themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, it's and another thing is nobody will ever know how much time and effort I put into that promotion.
Geez, I can only
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's in.
So you have all this success, but then when do you start hating it again?
I start hating it when the thing that really drew the line for me is our houses started dropping after Evolve came, which I pushed Evolve a lot. I helped them a lot. But after Evolve came, like, our attendance started dropping, and then I started thinking about it, and I'm dropping, like I said, I'm dropping $600 or $700 every month.
Right.
Running, and all the talent's like, you need to run every month.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. This is growing. You do iPay-per-view, which iPay-per-view for me was the whole deal behind the June iPay-per-view, I forgot what it's called, Live in Stereo.
Live in Stereo.
Was the Ring of Honor, and I love Ring of Honor. You're good with me, Ring of Honor. I don't want to shit on Ring of Honor, which I have. But the fact of the matter is, you have a team doing an iPay-per-view and you keep fucking up.
Yeah.
Just blows my mind.
Right. I mean, that's their sole purpose. They're dedicated to that.
I spent $1,200 to make a point to the wrestling world that, and people don't know, but that iPay-per-view was me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no team, there was no funding,
right,
there was no sponsors. That was me. I paid for the box to get shipped down. I paid for the streaming. I'm still paying for the streaming.
Right.
I paid for all the cables, and just to show that one damn person
can do it
who's
right.
running the damn wrestling show.
Right.
And
working on
also,
the show too at times.
Yeah, and can do this successfully. Why in the hell can you not?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, granted, we did have a few screw ups. I mean, we never lost signal. It never skipped out.
Right.
It was good quality, and it wasn't because I'm a perfectionist and I want to do everything industry standard. It wasn't as clean as I wanted it to be.
Sure.
But why would it be? You know, I got too many hands in the hat, or I guess whatever. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. I couldn't think.
That's what I'm here for.
But and then we do iPay-per-view for $1.99, and we have 100 buys, so $200 off of iPay-per-view, which nowhere near like pays for 1% of what I spent.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's the fact.
Yeah, but it's just like, and then people put online like, I mean, even people that shit on it, I'm like, at least you watched it. Yeah,
you paid $2.
Exactly, you paid $2 and you watched it,
yeah.
and then they interest you, and there was not one fucking name on that whole card.
Right.
Like the main event was Zach. The main event, Marcellus and Zach.
Shoot, I commentated.
I can't remember.
Grape nipples. Hashtag.
Did you do that, Dom, dude?
Yeah.
Nice.
Come on now.
I can't remember what the main event. It's sad because I can't remember what I booked. But it's funny because the booking told itself. That's another thing that I can't understand is you spend all this time and effort in booking, and that's what I spent the least time and effort, and I was the most successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to say the boys booked it, but the boys gave me the ideas for the booking.
Yeah.
Like I just opened it, I said, listen, I have an open door policy that if you have an idea, throw it to me.
Right.
And I'm sure that I can work out how it's going to be.
I never felt like, and there's a lot of promoters out there where I feel like I can't approach them, or even if I do approach them, I'm going to get the blow off. Mm-hmm. I never felt like I couldn't approach you. I always knew that when I came to you, you were going to listen to my idea and my opinions, and you were either going to say, let's run with it, or why don't we do this, but add this with it and try it out. And so I always knew I could take, no matter how ridiculous it was, hey, I'm number 8 in the EVO 8, you've got 7 other competitors. Let me make them all a 7 deadly sin.
Exactly.
And on paper that seems ridiculous, but we made it work.
Exactly. And it all goes back to, I respect the talent enough to know that they're the ones, and I've said this numerous times to them, you guys are the ones that travel. You guys are the ones that wrestle every weekend. I do this thing once a month, and 90% of the time my mind isn't even on wrestling.
Right.
I mean, that's what I tell people. I said the wrestling on the show is the last of my worries.
So why do you think that after Evolve, that EVO started?
I think the location.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest ordeal. You're paying a high amount of money for a very nice venue that gives, I mean, don't get me wrong, they took care of me a lot. Sure. They still do to this day. But it's being that far out of the loop of civilization. And it's just ultimately, it was awesome at first because it was wrestling at the arena.
Right.
You know what I mean? But eventually people just got tired of driving all the way out there. And
so what was the big thing that made you say, man, was it the money? Was it I'm done? Or was
the biggest thing was we did the EVO versus PWX thing. And we didn't draw worth shit. And that's the first, which proves I mean, I don't want to shit on Roddy and Eddie and Delirious because they came in and did a hell of a job.
Sure, yeah.
And I don't think it's their fault that we didn't play. I just think we had run our course at that point. Right. And we tried to do something to build the crowd back up.
Right.
And it didn't work. but I have two, if not, I know Delirious doesn't get to wrestle much anymore, but I have two of the best workers in the business right now on a show, and people don't come out to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you.
And then, but what ultimately just makes me just think like, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore, is that I take pride in paying all of my guys and putting on a, like, excellent show, top to bottom production, booking, wrestling, just experience in general to the public. And then you have people that are making money that don't pay half their fucking roster, that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that bring in names and pay them a shit ton of money and don't pay half their roster, and a lot of their roster are the same people that I use that I pay good.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
I remember getting the call.
That and people, like I know I say Ty takes, like, branches from my ideas. Like, I think he took the way Evo looked and put it into his thing.
Yeah, edgy,
and,
underground.
Yeah, exactly,
Sure.
exactly. Which is humbling, because people, I mean, even CWF did it at one point. And the people, they've been running for 10 years, doing the same thing for 10 years, and they tried to, like, we had cussing in our promos.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I believed, sometimes I didn't, depending on, and I told people at the shows, if you feel like, if you need to say motherfucker or something like that in a show, as long as it has a purpose to sell the story that you're telling, I will never have a problem.
So long as you just don't yell the N-word for no reason whatsoever.
Exactly. And
then get a roll
like,
out.
and then other people start, like, cussing in their promos. And then you see, like, the I was a firm believer in, I'm not going to stand here with a microphone and talk to you like a promo.
Right.
Because that's so 80s and bullshit.
Right.
Like, that's so NFL.
Handing it off.
Like just bring a camera into a dressing room and say, listen, how you feel? If people give me their, and that got over.
Right.
And I mean, it's just like, everybody, I don't mind everybody stealing ideas. I really don't. I mean, it's flattering. Thank you. But when I spend X amount of money to do a show, and people are going to your show because it looks like my show, and the only difference is you're booking these names and not paying the guys that I pay the same amount of money. I mean, if I was a dick like all other promoters, I could go to them and say, you work for this guy for no money, why don't you work for me for no money?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Call him
I
right
don't
out
believe
on
in
it.
that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's sad that you shit on yourself just to be on a show. That's the problem that I have with the whole wrestling business.
Yeah.
Is you have a bunch of grown fucking men that, like, kill off their self-respect.
Their morals and their values.
To make a promoter happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A name. No, I get you.
It's like,
they undercut themselves, they oversell themselves, they do whatever they can to get that
That's
spot.
what's wrong with the wrestling business, and it's I know the wrestling business has been pointed out like follows the porn business to me before, which is true.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which is true, and
in some respects, I'm as guilty just as the next. I remember getting a call from you after the last Evo show, and you were like, "Look, I don't think Evo's going to run anymore. We're going to run the Evo 8. We're going to run whatever other show you said we're going to run. So I'll maybe run 3 shows next year." Blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Look, man, I'll do whatever I can to help you. You know, if you want to do podcasts or whatever, I'll be game for it." And I remember, I hung up the phone and dropped the phone on the bed, and I go, "Well, that was a pretty depressing phone call I've gotten in the last 6 months." And Rebecca's like, "What?" I was like, "You know, the company that I told you that I single-handedly credit to rebuilding the fire in Kirby Mack? Yeah, they're done." And it was all totally selfish of me, not thinking about you or what you had spent. But
but it was. It's not even about the money. In retrospect, it's just that if I could find a way to do something, like, you can't do anything original anymore, and there's so much bullshit out there that when you try to put out something that is worth living, that people won't jump on board because they're used to the bullshit. Yeah. And it's
almost too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than this company me and Thomas used to run called ICW, it had a really huge cult following. We did TV. I was really passionate about it. Other than that, and this was 10 years ago, I never felt like I was part of something, and I never felt like I was more part of a magic and just the atmosphere and the passion and the talent. I never felt like I was that anywhere I went until I hit EVO. And I know I told you time and time again, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but man, you got something here, and you have
and I believe that's
done something with these guys, and you've taken this man, it's like you took the right percentage of Formula A and the right percentage of Formula B, and you put it in the pot, and man, you created a leprechaun. I don't know how you did it,
and
but you did it.
Yeah, and it was all, I don't know how I did it. I have no idea, and that's what's so frustrating about it, is I have people like you and Corey and Zach and even Jake and Caleb and Cedric to a certain extent that believe so much in that company.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how to make it. I mean, I know how to make it succeed, and I'm working on it. But I don't like to. It's a point where I look at myself in the mirror and I say, I don't want to disappoint these guys because they've given me so much over the past 2 years. But at some point, I have to take myself into consideration.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I totally
and
agree.
it's so.
How hard was it for you to make that call?
Oh, it's still hard to this day, and I keep having to remind myself of why, because I just can't. I mean, if you bust out of the fantasy world of professional wrestling, I have a mortgage I have to pay with my wife.
Exactly.
I mean, at some point, I'll start a family with, and how long can. If I was 23 again and I didn't have any responsibilities, I'd do this shit like without even thinking about it, you know. But it's at some point, real life has to take effect on you.
You think? All right, so tell me, man, because I remember sitting there watching Jake Manning leave, and then I asked you, I said, is Jake Manning really gone? Because to me, Jake Manning seemed like he was a big part of EVO, and you're like, yeah, he's gone for just a little bit, and he never came back.
Well, the thing is Jake leaving was his idea.
Okay.
Because we were going to. This goes back to you saying that I'm not opposed to any ideas that were brought to me.
Right.
Because we were coming back with Jake not as the Man Scout. I mean, the original idea for that was, and this to all Jake Manning credit, which I think I've tweaked a little bit, but he loses EVO 8. He disappear. He'll come back as a cameraman. Film the shows.
Okay.
To where Marcellus starts picking on him. Like, you used to be one of these guys.
Right.
But look at you now.
Right.
Like, 3 shows, Marcellus is just giving them shit, pushing them and all that. You can't do anything. So then Jake snaps and beats the shit out of Marcellus. So then Marcellus is like, I don't give a fuck if he's part of this company or not. I want to match with him. Right. To where Jake Manning comes back as Jake Manning.
Now, how come it never happened?
Because every time that we were trying to set it up, he was out of town.
Busy, He's a busy guy. Man.
Yeah, which is understandable.
I want to do one thing here that I feel is overdue, and then I really want to ask you a couple more questions about EVO before we go into word association. But I want to do one thing that I feel like I haven't been able to do on a public forum. These two guys here.
Listen,
sir.
I'm picking up your beer.
It's okay. I have Mexicans for that. These two guys here, I learned a lot about them. I was first introduced to them through EVO, and I learned a lot about them just through their post on Facebook and talking to them kind of back and forth, trying to help them out. I see a lot of young Kirby in these two guys here. These two guys here have incredible amounts of untapped potential.
Yes.
And we're talking Robin Golphin and Joe Black. Am I correct on these names here?
Now, before you continue, Robin Golphin came to a tryout for EVO, to where everybody looked at me and was like, he's not in shape, he's little, how in the hell can you use him?
Do anything with him.
And the idea that I came up with was I was going to feed him to the wolf in Casey McKnight. And he knew it. And that's the thing about him. That's why I love Robin Golphin. And I will back Robin Golphin to anybody. Is he knew, I said, Robin, you make it through this match. You're going to get your ass kicked. It's a given.
Right.
You make it through this match, and you will be respected with the EVO crowd for the rest of your career.
Right.
Like the rest of the time the EVO is around.
Right.
And he got his ass beat.
Sure.
Like, I mean, it was safe.
Yeah.
Like a safe ass beating, but it was a KC ass
It was
beating.
a right.
Yeah.
I got you.
And and to this day, every time he steps foot through the curtain, when his music came on at EVO 8, everybody started cheering.
Absolutely. I want to say.
That was just
no, you're fine, man.
Just showing you that I see talent in people.
No, that's the whole purpose of this. I see a lot of younger Kirby in these guys, especially in their posts where they're venting on Facebook about the politics and about people and about how all they want to do is wrestle. They don't care about all the other stuff. Just put these two guys in a ring and let them do what they love to do. And I have tried to give these guys guidance as best as I can. Look, I'm not anybody. But man, if there's one thing I've done in this business, I've made mistakes. And I don't want to see anybody make the mistakes that I've made. So I try my best to help these two guys out, just kind of with guidance. You know, these are my young bloods. And just keep an eye out for these guys, man. These guys not only are passionate, but are incredibly talented.
Yes. If you don't book them, you need to start.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks to Patrick for giving them that guidance and really putting them on my radar. Now that we're done, and let me get a little racist here, but it's a stereotype in wrestling. A lot of, especially up until Shelton Benjamin, a lot of black guys weren't looked at as, you know, they were good athletes, but there was no good black wrestlers. I mean, that's a dead shoot. You go back and ask people, black guys aren't good wrestlers. They're clumsy. They're Ahmed Johnsons. They get injured every week. They hurt people. Not these guys. Good black guys. And they sell me weed for cheap, so, you know.
Nice.
I won't tell anybody that. No, they don't.
Oh, okay.
What is EVO's biggest failure? This is a two-part. This is angle-wise, like something you tried to push, match-wise or something, and then this is all around.
Can I do all around first?
Let's do it.
All around is becoming content with what we have.
Content.
Yeah, content. Is it no, content, that's not a word.
It is now.
Okay. Being, like, accepting what we have and not trying to build upon it.
Understand.
Which in turn, basically, I had a venue that I settled with, and I didn't try to go out and expand, which is a problem because at the time I didn't think when we were making money, I wasn't paying too much money for that venue, but when we don't make money, I'm still paying the same amount to the venue, and it starts costing. Angle-wise?
Do you regret the taser?
No, I love the taser. I do. People don't.
No,
but I
don't.
do.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that was for EVO shit on that. But
they didn't get it, man.
No,
it was before their time.
But it's I mean, the people that shit on it are those old school fans, you know. So,
to me, it made no other sense. It made perfect sense. We're not sanctioned. We're coming to fight. Trevor's a coward.
It's a matter of it's a matter of if you want to bring real life into a wrestling angle, if you're getting the shit beat out of you, and you have the ability to use a taser in a fight, you're gonna taste the shit out of somebody. And I was worried about like Trevor not doing it right. And he fucking did it to the T, son. He hit it.
I remember we went over and over. Damn, I remember I called you and I knew in the bottom of my heart he's gonna crap all over this taser. No way. I said, Patrick, just hear me out. What do you think about me getting tased?
and what I said?
You were like, yeah, let's do it.
Damn right.
Because I remember I asked Trevor. I said, Trevor, I wanted to tase him first because I thought in reality that would make sense. I said, Trevor, what do you think about getting tased? I don't get paid enough to do that. What do you think about tasing me? I mean, if you'll take it, fine.
Does Trevor not know it's a work?
I guess not, man. I guess he doesn't realize I'm going to let
go.
How
they do shit on there today?
Apparently they really tase people. I don't know.
Last time I saw somebody get tased, they really tased them.
Yeah.
It's a work,
but
it's a work.
I honestly, I was like, man, he's going to...
No, I think the taser was fine.
And I feel like an idiot bringing this to him, but I think it worked perfect.
Yes.
I didn't think there was any other way we could go into that.
Well, damn. I don't know. I'm trying to think about angles that didn't work. I just have to say Jake's. Jake's just because we weren't able to...
Never got off the ground.
I mean, we did the build up to him and Zach at EVO 8 beautifully. Like the story that like EVO 8 2000. If you buy a DVD, which is going to be available for a limited time, or watch it on demand. EVO 8 2012 was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, like top to bottom. Like from the fact that you lost the stories that were told in it. We introduced Skyler, and he got over big. Zach, who had made it a mission to take down the circus, who had taken over EVO, was successful, but in being successful,
That's where I work, Cedric.
Yes,
Yeah,
you and Cedric had a fucking ridiculous match.
8 brainbusters.
Yeah, and Caleb got over because we introduced Joey again, and he crowd pop for him. And then Caleb got over by giving him the damn top rope brainbuster that he was doing to me in training. And then you have the story of Jake and Zach in the main event.
Yeah.
To where it's like, I want Zach to win because I believe he can take out the circus. But if he beats Jake, Jake's done here.
Yeah.
And Jake's earned our respect from being a heel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just that all that emotion.
It was
and then it all it all went over well. Like it all poured out.
So,
I mean, even though the ending got fucked up a little bit, but even with that, it went over. And I mean, and Jake, and just to show you how open I am to people, in the middle of that show, Jake came to me and said, "Dude, me and Zach need to have a no holds barred, just anything goes match." And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because we've done every fucking thing else.
Right.
We've had 8 matches on this card. Everybody's seen everything else. They haven't seen." And it's for the moment, I was like, "Do it. Go out there, cut a promo before the match, and you guys come up with a finish."
Right.
And so I walked in. I was standing over there in the corner.
It's funny that it just kind of goes to show you, like, how me and Jake are almost on the same page at times, because I remember, like, I was telling Cedric, I was like, "I just want you to beat my ass." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because they're going to see everything else, Ed."
We didn't get into Circo.
No, we didn't.
Circo. The only reason Circo was ever created was so that I could wrestle without people knowing it was me. Without people knowing it was
so you didn't get the Kevin Nash
owner of the
stigma?
company.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you watch the history of Circo, Circo never went over.
Right.
Ever. Because my belief is I'm better at putting people over than.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I don't want to wrestle for a title.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to wrestle for a title, and I'm here to put Eric Roy over. I'm here to put Cedric over. I remember the match with me and Cedric. Cedric knocked me out with a kick, and before we went out there, which is probably one of the biggest mistakes.
Golfing did the same thing to me.
And left you, but I didn't have laces on my chin. You had laces on your forehead. But
I'm going to edit
I remember looking at Cedric.
When I put him over, I'm going to edit that out.
I remember looking at Cedric while putting on my mask. And the craziest fucking thing about Circo is not everybody knew it was me.
Right.
Like, fans did not know it was me at all.
Right.
Until they started putting the pieces together. And it was Marcellus's idea for Circo to be like the henchman for Marcellus to create the circus.
Yeah.
And Circo is circus in Spanish. So that's where all that came about. But it's so funny because, before I walked out for me and Cedric's match, which is the best match Circo had, me and Shiva's match was pretty good. But me and Cedric, I looked at Cedric while I was putting on my mask and tying it, and I said, "Let's beat the shit out of each other," which was the wrong fucking thing to say to Cedric Alexander.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember we had caught a spot where I was trying to do the Hamrick baseball slide, like drop kick, and he caught me. And he powerbombed me, did the Kevin Steen powerbomb on the apron. Yeah. And when he powerbombed me on the apron, it felt like my whole fucking rib just ripped. And it was like a pain that went around and then shot to my rib cage. And I tell Sid, just before we put guardrails up, which we've only done the last couple shows, I said, "Buy me some time." And he puts me in a chair in the front row on each side of the ring and kicks the shit out of me in the chest. Yeah. Like over and over and over again, which it did this job. Right. But if you watch that at the very end, when he hits me with the super kick and I go down to my knee and he does the baseball or the soccer style kick to the face, he just tattoos me in the fucking chin. Yeah. And I woke up when he had me up for the brain buster.
I think that's the thing too about the guys at EVO, like, we would tag each other whether on purpose or on accident, but we never got angry after the fact. Like when Robin Golfin knocked me out, he legit knocked me out. I don't remember anything after that kick. I think I worked a spot with Chiva and ended up going over him or putting him over. I can't recall.
He missed the double front flip.
Yeah, we had some spot.
And you covered him.
Yeah. But I mean, I was legit knocked out, but I mean, I ribbed the guy Robbins of the day, but I mean, I didn't care. But like, you know, it was just because we all just had the same respect and the same passion.
Exactly. And I told people when they first came in, I said, if you bitched at me about getting hit too hard, you don't need to be here. Right, yeah. Because that's the style that we work.
But I didn't get to say this earlier, but the guy, when he did the flip and he held the rope and he fucked my neck up. Yeah. He did the flip, he held the rope, and he messed my neck up. You don't know why I did that? Yeah. As soon as he did, my entire left side went numb. I never lost feeling, but I couldn't feel. I was like, oh, I can't feel. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying it loud as day. And I know he hears me because he you know, he's okay. I said, I can't feel my left side. I can't feel my left side. I can't feel my left side. And you're going to have to do everything else without me.
Yeah.
I roll into the ring, trying to bring feeling back. I can't feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
I roll back out. It's obvious that to the fans, it's obvious that he knows I'm hurt. This is the one thing to this day that just irks me about it. And I know it's just because he's young and he was just trying to get over my expense.
Yeah.
But after the match, after he wins, he walks around the ring and he's celebrating and he steps on my chest and like uses me as a step. All his weight is on me and over me.
That's
and I'm thinking to myself, dude, what if I was paralyzed? How would
you
you feel then?
And you fucking paralyzed.
How would you feel then? You're stepping on someone that's paralyzed that you did this to, and you're just trying to get over his expense.
Don't get me started on what's wrong. We have another hour to get
Right.
What's wrong
Well,
with
we might have to bring you back. Let's do some word association.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this.
Let's do
You want to use the board again?
let's do the board, man.
I like
got
the
it.
board.
I might as well use
You need
it.
to use the board a little more often.
I think so, man. I think so. I'll give you
I don't
a
even know if
marker.
I'm still in the shot or not.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Okay.
I'll give you a marker in case you want to write.
I don't need to write. I'll just talk. You're right. You're
It's
right.
fair, just in
Okay.
case.
Fair enough.
I'm going to start with the guy that always comes up in word association. And I feel like you have something to say about this guy.
Okay.
This way I don't catch heat for bringing it up. I just wrote it.
I think. I've never had a problem with Thomas.
Mhm.
Thomas is full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody knows that.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing with Thomas, like I watched Thomas's Safe House, and Thomas shits on everybody. He shit on me before,
Yeah.
and the only time he didn't shit on me is when I had a match with you. When me and Good had a match with you,
Right.
that's the only time he never shit on me.
Right.
But and I say this out of which I don't care if I have heat with Thomas or not, but he's a fucking nobody. He's a teacher. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gave money to young guys, not
Right.
knowing where it was going to go.
He likes to say that
You
he's
got lucky.
a talent enhancer, and I think that's a...
I mean,
Pretty
he's
appropriate
more of a motivational speaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's, I for the people that you do what you do for, what he did for you, what he's doing for Alex. I mean, more power to you, man. If that's where you feel you're led to do, then do it.
Right.
But there's no sense in shitting on people. I mean, I know, like you have all the right in the world to shit on somebody if they shit on you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, shit on somebody as a person, I should say. If they're slime balls, you have all the right to shit on them because they deserve it.
Right.
But like going back to Zach, he said Zach's not a good worker. He's out of his fucking mind. I saw Zach wrestle Bryan Danielson in one of the best indie matches I've ever seen in my life.
Right. Right.
When Zach was hurt, you know what I mean? And I think I'm never one to judge anybody. Like everybody's cool with me. You know what I mean? And that's a really big fault in the wrestling business for me because I don't like. I mean, Ty's used me before. I mean, like just used me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know he's probably on your thing too.
Right.
But we'll get him later. But it's like as long as I can do it, as long as I can help you, then it's worth my time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like the only problem I have with Thomas is he goes out of his way to shit on people.
I can see that. Yeah.
I mean, if he would just stick to positive and give his guidance and his knowledge and share that, yes,
Yeah.
and I agree with you 100% on that. If he just shared his positive knowledge with people and didn't shit on everybody that he wanted to and think that his opinion mattered so fucking much when it means shit.
Right.
Nobody's opinion means shit. Vince McMahon's opinion mean shit to me. You know what I mean? Because he's just a fucking dude that grew up in North Carolina that had the opportunity to do what he does.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, the only difference, and that's what I tell people like this made it in wrestling. It's like the only difference between, I mean, I said it in my promo for PWX and EVO, and it was a shoot kind of, and like I respect the shit out of Roddy and Eddie and Delirious, but the only difference between them and you and Zach and Marcellus and Cedric is they've had the opportunities and you didn't.
Right. Yeah.
You were in the right place at the right time. You weren't. You know what I mean?
We all know wrestling isn't what you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of who, I don't know what he wants me to put his last name.
I think Ty is, like I said earlier, Ty found his place in wrestling. Ty is one of my really good friends, and which is rare, and people wonder because Ty does steal a lot of my ideas. But understand when you see Ty stealing my ideas, I give him permission.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't mind because
it's about, I think Ty deserves to be successful.
Sure.
In what he does.
Right.
And I don't know Ty. I like to think Ty's got a good opinion of me. I helped Ty more than anybody would ever know. Like, I helped Ty build his image and build his brand much more than anybody.
Sure.
But I mean, Ty plays the game good.
Yes,
but the thing about Ty is Ty hates the game so much he doesn't realize that he plays it so
right.
good.
No, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and that's his fault. And it's like, I mean, I have nothing. Ty, like I said, Ty screwed me on money, on this and that, but also Ty's helped me too. So it balances itself out.
Yeah.
And when I know whenever I have a hard time dealing with something in the wrestling business or in life in general, Ty would be the first one to call me.
Sure.
And through all his demons that he has, or all his faults that he has, like his friendship to me means so much more than what he does in the wrestling business. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
I mean, if I had something to say about Ty, I would say he's probably one of the best players of the game that I've ever met. That doesn't even realize that he knows how to play the game as good as he does.
Yeah.
I can't spell his first name.
It's not McKing, it's Marcellus King.
Marcellus, man, he's like a brother to me. He, it's weird because it's like I don't even know where his friendship grew out of.
Yeah, I didn't either, man. I just all of a sudden you guys were like salt and pepper.
Yeah, it's like me and him tagged in a show in North Carolina, a little like, y'all were there. We tagged against the Drew kid.
Yep, Drew McElrath.
Is that his name? They had the
Mac
music
Daddy.
sign thing.
Drew McElrath.
Him and Brendan Phoenix, or Brendan P.
Yep.
And like since then we just talked. And his freaking, like, his wife is the most positive person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah, man.
But he, I don't know. I mean, I seriously, like, if I sit down and think about it, it's like, I don't even know, like, it's just, we connected. And then, we became, like, he became, like, one of the guys I went to for EVO. Like, he was one of the first guys that I booked for EVO. And, like, me and him wrestled the first EVO 8. Like, wrestled each other, and we weren't even that good of friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, he got into the EVO thing, and he started, like, talking to me a lot on the phone, and we started rubbing any ideas, and then, like, it's so weird when you're a promoter because you sit there and you're like, is this guy doing this because he wants to get over, or is he doing this because he wants to actually be a friend?
Right.
Which then I forget that I'm like, what people tell me is like one of the nicest fucking guys in the wrestling business anyway. But like through it all, it's like he's always been there.
Yeah.
Like I tell him, he was one of the ones, like, I mean, I hold him on like almost on your level to where y'all are both as disappointed about like me possibly ending EVO. But he said, I understand the
Sure.
And then like our families have just grown to know each other so much that like legit he's like a brother to me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, I might need to call him my black brother.
Sure. Well, you know, there's no color.
Yeah, and it's so weird
no
because
color in black and white.
because I sit here and I think about how we became friends, and I have no fucking clue on how it ever evolved
None
into
of
what
us
it
do
is.
either, so don't worry about it. It just happened. I don't know how to spell it.
I think it's like this. There we go. Zach. There you go. Zach is, I mean, I don't want to use brother again, but like
Sister, we can use sister.
well,
we
Zach, it's weird because me and Zach can like not talk for like months, and then if we get together, it's just like we haven't missed a beat.
Gotcha,
like we'll get right there on that same level.
Yeah.
And Zach is like one of the most humble, like I said, most humble guys on the face of the earth, and he has every. I mean, he doesn't have every right to have an ego, and he's been in
But he
that.
possesses the talent that he could.
Yes, and I mean the only reason that he's not signed anywhere is because he's had injuries, and I tell him all the time it's all about the path that you're chosen to take. I mean, this might just the path that you're chosen to take from a higher being might not be the same path that you want to go on. You know what I mean?
And that's one of the hardest things to reconcile.
Yeah, and and he was bitter for a long time, but then he got right with who he needed to get right with, and he's fine with it now.
Yeah.
And it's like I can sit and fucking talk to Zach like for hours upon hours about wrestling, about life, and about everything. So,
and I think
if I had a like dear friend in the business, it'd be Zach Salvation.
I think going back to what you said that he had to make right with who he had to make right with, and he understands it and accepts it now. I mean, that's really where I went to and where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Look, if Vince McMahon comes me with a contract today, done.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't,
then
cool,
it's
man.
life.
Whatever.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I move on. I go to the next one. I have another beer. Somewhat of a controversial figure now. We're trying to have him on Safe House for a while, and we just haven't met up, but he'll be on.
I like John. I don't even know if that's his shoot name. But I mean, I like Skylar.
John is, yes.
And I think Skylar has let like a push get to his head.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same Skylar that I booked on the first EVO 8. You know what I mean? And I still don't really know him that well, but like I mean, for the same well, are you gonna be kicking me on this?
I can if you want.
Okay. I mean, but I would do that one because he's got a completely different perspective of how I see him now than
I had an issue with Skylar not so long ago, and I texted him and I said, Skylar, you're me in 2005, man. You're that guy. You believe in yourself that much that it comes off as like it's not ball busting anymore.
Yeah,
it's hurting.
But
I mean, I think
I'm
influenced by the wrong
it's like
crowd.
It's like this. Yeah, well, I got my own one.
Yeah, you
I
do
do it
man.
in blue. Sorry. And I'm gonna get heat for this. And Skylar, I don't mean this in like to shit on you, but this is what it comes across as me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that how it comes off?
John Skylar is a wannabe Zach Salvation.
Okay.
That might be because I know the history of him being in CWA, like a fan and becoming. But understand that I'll erase that. But understand, John, in that constructive criticism, as you put it, is if you look at your character, it is based on Zach Salvation.
Sure.
And you became a wrestler because you were a fan of Zach Salvation. So respect Zach Salvation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I got you. I understand, yeah.
And like if people have I don't know this about Skylar because me and Skylar talk and we've done business together, but I don't really know him that well. Mm-hmm. And I know him enough to see that he's changed with the Revolution Pro booking and getting his name out there, being on SmackDown or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like if you stay humble and you'll get so much further than if you get that dickhead attitude.
The biggest thing, and I tell people this to this day, and you can look at it. It goes back in history as far as history goes. The minute you believe in your own hype is the downfall of you.
Yeah, you'll die as a wrestler.
Yeah,
not legit, but yeah.
So this is the avenue we want to go down.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
Yeah, you're fine. But like the only reason I say this is because I booked Casey on a show and he didn't say a word to me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he knew who I was or what.
On an EVO show.
Yeah, on an EVO show, and he showed up and did not shake my hand, did not come say hey to me, which I'm not egotistical and I don't give a shit about that. But if I'm paying you money to come work on my show, you should at least say hey, Patrick.
Well,
how you doing?
isn't it the unwritten rule that you shake hands and say hey to everyone in the locker room?
Exactly.
From a girl to a guy, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude sitting at a computer playing music, it doesn't matter.
And it's, but the Casey McKnight that's in FCW now is not that Casey McKnight. The last time I encountered Casey McKnight, he's changed. Mm-hmm. Like he's humbled
that's
now.
good. Yeah.
Which and that's why, like if I wouldn't have met him and talked with him, like I had an unbelievable talk with Casey, and me and him keep in touch to this day, and well, as much as we can, but
like if I wouldn't have had that experience with him, then I would have just you're gonna get shit on down in FCW.
Right.
But now I think he has the right mindset and the right outlook on life that he can be successful at what he does. That's why I'm proud. I'm really proud of him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I mean, I've known him. I mean, I didn't know him when he had the long hair and he worked for Ty.
Right.
But I've known him for the past 2 years, and like the Casey McKnight, like we talk about somebody who's getting to where they don't need to be. This is someone who's exactly where he needs to be to go where he needs to go. You know what I mean?
Yep. Understand. Let's end it with this, and then I got 2 more questions, and then we're going to plug away. And we all know we like to plug away.
Evo? I don't know. It's weird. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know if I told you. I know I told people this, man. You called me and you're like, hey, I want to book you in TJ for EVO. And legit, my first thought was, what the hell is EVO? And then the minute I found out what it was, man, I was hooked.
Yeah, I remember you guys coming down and doing the one thing. And I also remember TJ not wanting to wrestle anymore.
Yep.
And like immediately hit me, Kirby is a single attraction. Because, I mean, not to shit on TJ, but you were the attraction of that team. You know what I mean?
I was the show.
Because TJ, like, you were the shit talker, you were the charisma, TJ was a good worker,
right?
Like a good wrestler,
right?
And that's like when we came up. I mean, and that's the thing is like I say, well, because when we talked about it, he was like, TJ don't want to come down. I said, well, are you interested in doing singles? I think you emailed me or called me or texted me. It was like, can I do singles?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, and we'll do it. And then I came up with the idea, we need to put you, it might even been me and Zach that said, we need to put Kirby with the Super Hex because he can guide those guys.
Right.
Like you have enough knowledge and learning from your mistakes that you can guide these guys like Trevor and that's what it's all about, is making these guys successful. I'm never gonna make $1 million off of this name.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And when I look at it, is what's the future? Because I don't know the future. I mean, I have Ty calling me every other day saying, "Are you gonna run EVO 8?" I have people calling me or texting me. I hear Shore called me today on the way up here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Man, everybody was asking me when you're gonna run again at Ty's show," and I was like, "I have no fucking clue, man.
Right.
I don't know. I'm so just mind fucked when it comes to that." But it's like the thing. Like if it was done and no more was ran, like with this name right here, I don't take any credit for it. Me and the guy that I had wrestle for me did the impossible with that name.
I agree.
And in 2 years, with no names at all, we created a nationally known brand with Pro Wrestling EVO. And everybody, like Chikara wants to do pay-per-views, and they have to hire out people. Other organizations want to do pay-per-views, they have to hire out what's their name up north?
Right.
Go Fight Live, or Smart Mark Video, or this and that. And I always look at it as like I did that fucking shit myself.
The one-man gang, yeah.
Nobody helped me. Nobody taught me. I researched that shit until I knew it top to bottom.
Yeah.
And I did it myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
that's one of the most like proud moments ever, is that there's companies that have run for 10 or 12 years that have never done it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it also speaks volumes in like whatever you fucking want to do, you can. Like you just have you gotta have the passion and the drive to do it. And
we're kind of off basis, but not maybe on a lighthearted topic. Were you as OCD as I was about the fans chanting EVO as if it was like some kind of analogy?
I hate it.
EVO was EVO. It didn't stand for every valuable opponent or everlasting vasectomies overnight.
Yeah, it's like abbreviation for evolution.
So you should have just chanted EVO, not EVO. That drove me crazy when they would go EVO, and I'd just be sitting in the back and I'd be like, it's EVO!
You don't get it. But it's, the funny thing is the concept behind EVO was because everybody that I talked to that wrestled for PWG always called it Gorilla. I remember when we wrestled for Gorilla, and I was like, what if we created a fucking brand that people don't call it Pro Wrestling EVO, everybody says EVO.
Right.
You know Evo? Evo this, Evo that.
Exactly.
And then you look it up online, and obviously it's Evo phone shit.
Right. The new hot smartphone that
yeah.
comes out. Well, Patrick, tell everybody where they can find you.
My Twitter handle's weird. Well, my Twitter handle
I'll put it up. It'll be down here the entire time.
No, it won't. Because every time you say you're going to put shit down here, it doesn't get put on there.
You're crazy, man. You have not watched any episodes.
I just watched Derek Rises.
Why don't you watch my Canadian Destroyer again? Oh. You kidding me, man? You did not watch Derek Rises.
I just saw
because
it.
Derek Rises had at Derek Rise right at the bottom of the
Oh,
entire
yeah, that's
time.
true. That's true. But you was like, because you were like,
I'm
I'm
gonna
put the hotline up right here, and it's like down here like 30 minutes earlier.
Because I started doing the annotations, but then I got a different program that would render quicker, and I could just put the graphic inside the program.
Gotcha.
If you want to get on nerd terms here. Bazinga.
Dude, you know how I am about that shit. But,
tell them where they can find you, or else I'm not going to let them find you.
At Patrick Wright 83 on Twitter.
Right here. It's right here. It's totally right here.
It's right
though
here.
This guy wants to talk.
It's right here.
Maybe it's here.
Would it be?
Look at him. He looks like an idiot. He's doing this, and it's right here. It's totally up.
Maybe
It's totally down.
Okay, right here. At Patrick Wright, but my name, can you see your name on Twitter? Because we have this new thing. I'll put this shit out there. We have this new comedy
Millennium
album.
Falcon.
Huh?
Malcolm Millennium.
Yes.
Millennium Falcon.
But that's the funny thing, is like people don't understand I have my hand in so many pots.
Yeah.
That me and Marcellus King and one of my buddies that did the music for EVO created a comedy group. It's like Lonely Island.
Yeah.
And it's called Cane Punch, which is the gimmick too. But and we released the album, and it's at canepunch.com, and you can buy it for $5 in November. Well, it's
Spicy
December.
tuna roll.
It'll be December now on it. I was about to say in November it goes to Movember Foundation.
Yeah,
it's already
totally
December.
going up in December.
But no, it's still $5. But it's freaking hilarious. It's funny music, and it's got me singing and Marcella singing and Nick singing. It's just another project because like I said, I'm a firm believer in.
It's another passionate project.
Like when you die, you can't take money. You can't take money
Right.
with you.
Right.
You can't take valuables. You can't take cars. You can't take houses. But what you can take is your experiences in life.
Absolutely.
So that when my friends, I have the ability. I mean, I taught myself how to mix and master music, like off of YouTube videos and books.
I'm sure you've heard my sad attempts at raps.
But it's
Under Attack was a damn
that's
good
what it's all
song.
about. It's
And the link to Under Attack is right here. And that was a damn good song.
It's funny because in retrospect, if you look at life in general, and I'm gonna get deep with it, but if you look at life in general, you can do whatever the hell you want to do.
Absolutely.
Like, you don't have to sell 1 million fucking records to be an artist and to be a singer. Like, because the minute that we have that DVD or that CD produced, or I'll use wrestling terms, the minute you have your show produced and put in a box and wrapped, and someone pays $10 or $20 for that show, you have done something.
Yep.
You were a part of that night. They created that DVD. They created that entertainment for that person.
I'll never forget the day that me and TJ, we had a fan named Kyle. He made the Best of Team Action DVD. I'll never forget the day we sold the first DVD for $20 to somebody. And I was like, really? You're buying... Now, granted, the DVD had 12 matches on it. I was like, you're paying me $20
to watch you wrestle.
To watch 12 matches of me? Dude, I was blown away.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, we've sold 50 CDs.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's just like wrestling. I mean, anything. All businesses are the same in the entertainment industry. It's because people will see it and they're like, oh, comedy music? That's fucking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then they hear it and they're like,
this
oh my
is
God.
the tale.
This is amazing.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
Exactly.
I love that song.
And it's just, and that can be found at Cane Punch on Twitter. But it's canepunch.com. Yeah. Cane Punch. But my Twitter tag is still at Patrick Wright.
Sold in a couple of
but
months.
the whole basis behind that, besides doing a cheap plug for our new idea that we came up with, is that when you see my name, it's Malcolm Millennium, which is my Cane Punch name, because of course you have to market yourself as what's marketed out.
Right.
But Pro Wrestling EVO still has the EVO thing, and like I said, the future is unknown. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's dead or we're not running again. All it takes is me finding a decent building, you know what I mean, for lower price than I was paying before.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'd like to say that EVO will be alive and well. If EVO does still live, then the idea behind it coming back is unbelievable.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, you really accomplished something. And I told you about this guy. You had a guy who's been running for 10 years. 10 years, a year after you ran, he came to me, and because he knew my relationship with you, and he knew I was working with EVO, and he said, I want what EVO has. How can I do that? And this is a guy who's been running for 10 years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this little company out of nowhere called EVO, he wants that.
Yeah.
And that's an accomplishment all on its own.
And it's so, like, I have a mind block
And it's like
of
I told
how,
him, I said,
like,
you
we've had
have
this
to pay
conversation
for the
before,
talent.
is I have a mind block of, like, when it comes to my skills with art, like video production, graphic design, I have a mind block that doesn't allow me to process how good I am at it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get you.
So when I look at EVO and everybody feeds me dude, EVO was the one of the most amazing things I've ever been a part of, and this and that, I can't, like, it doesn't process.
Right.
And I don't know if it's just my lack of egotistical nature, or if it's just the way my makeup is, or my mind works.
Right.
But I can't, like, I wish just for one day that I could process
Right.
how many, because, I mean, that's what it was all about. It was all about the experiences that the wrestlers had when they stepped foot. Because I made a point at one show that guys that we were using to wrestle for another company on a regular basis, brought a whole different attitude when they stepped foot into an EVO ring. You know what I mean? They kill themselves for EVO.
Well, you know, I always have and always will be a firm believer behind EVO.
Definitely.
Always will be, and I always appreciate the opportunities you gave me. And honestly, EVO, I single-handedly credit it to. I mean, I had so much going on at the time. I was done. I had turned myself against wrestling. It was no longer fun. I mean, my brother, who that's all I knew, was stopping. So what else was there for me? And EVO relit that fire. And hopefully in a 6 months, the neck brace will be gone, and that fire will still be there. We'll see. Regardless, man.
What if it's not?
Oh, dude, I've said it time and time again. I am 100% happy with what I've accomplished. I mean, look at what a 160-pound guy.
Yeah, I mean, but it's and that's the thing. That's the thing with the King Punch stuff, is that even though wrestling's not there, there's so many other avenues that you can get your creative.
Right, and that's the thing I try to teach these younger guys like Joe Black and Robin Goff. They're like, oh, my show got canceled. I don't know what to do. And I'm like, guys, there's so much more to life than wrestling. I get it. I know where you're at.
Exactly.
I was there. I was booked every weekend. All I knew was wrestling. When a show got canceled, me and TJ would sit and stare at each other, and we'd be like, what do we do now?
Exactly.
I get it, guys, but trust me, don't let it consume you, because when it consumes you, that's going to be it. That's it. You're going to hate it.
And that's the thing, is I never had that, because I was never consumed by wrestling. And that might be, and I was. I feel like I'm lucky in that respect.
Absolutely.
And it's just like I'm consumed by wrestling, and I'm really not even consumed by wrestling anymore. Like, legit, after the EVO versus PWX show, I wanted to walk away, not watch wrestling, not deal with wrestling. Like, I have a few select people that I keep in touch with in wrestling that I would keep in touch with, and I won't have any part in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just like, because, like, I mean, the reason why EVO, I think, was successful is because I'm so in tune with everybody else's indie promotion.
Yeah.
And I'd watch everybody and see what they did wrong.
Yeah.
And I took all that knowledge and made it and did it right. And tried as hard as I could to do it right.
Sure.
I don't know if I did it right, but I'd like to think that I did it as right as good as I could. And that's what. And I wish people would just look at it and learn from it. You know what I mean? I mean, just like the posters.
What one guy did.
I mean, it's so simple. It's something as simple as, like, I talked with a person, I won't say his name, I talked with a person about Ring of Honor, and I'm like, who does y'all's graphics, man? It's amateur shit.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the
Especially
part of me that I hate.
For them.
Yeah, I'm like, you're trying to push yourself as a legit wrestling company, and you put out shit graphics. Something as simple as a graphic can turn me as a fan off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you got your iPay-per-view shit going right, and it looks really, really good, and I commend you on that. But do the whole fucking package, man.
I mean, put it in layman's term. When you go to the Red Box, what makes you buy Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies? It's that graphic.
Exactly.
They spent all the money on the DVD cover.
Yeah, and
it's not the product.
Exactly.
It's that freaking graphic that you're paying for.
Preached that. I did, and this might be getting too detailed on my relationship with Mike. I've helped with some of the shoot interviews with High Spots with the Ring of Honor guys, and I did some of the covers for it. And I said, and you can look on the website and see which ones I did and the other guys that's done, but you can tell dramatically. But that's what I've preached to Mike and the High Spots guys forever. Is that cover will sell that shit.
Absolutely,
man.
yep.
You cannot make these generic bullshit covers and think you're going to sell DVDs.
I mean, I think it was I can't remember the show was, but it was a show that was highlighted for CWA. It was Team Action versus the Naturals, and I did DVD cover art, and it was like real blood laced. It was red and orange, and Tyshawn just freaked out over it, and he was like, "Man, it's that graphic that's going to sell it."
Exactly.
I mean, 8 hours worth of work into that. Man.
Rise of a Champion, the Rise of a Champion 5, where y'all did the the cage match, and the graphic was the Rise of a Champion with the V, and the top was you and TJ in the cage, and the bottom was Jake and Joey in the cage.
Yeah.
I said that shit will sell anywhere.
Which is why when I do wrestling posters for shows, if you look at my style, you will notice that my wrestling posters are a legit ripoff, almost to the T, of a Hollywood movie.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I sell you a movie. I'm not selling you a wrestling show.
Exactly.
I'm selling you a freaking.
That's what everybody said about EVO
production.
posters. Is that they look like movie posters.
Yeah.
And I tell them, and the craziest fucking thing about any of the posters I ever did for EVO is like you look at them and you're like, oh my god, that looks so professional. And I wait. I'm a procrastinator to the T with shit like that. And I do those posters in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I do that graphic in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what goes back to when I'm sitting there saying I don't realize my talent. You know what I mean? I don't understand my talent.
Yeah.
And it's
just cranking it out.
Yeah,
and
it bites me in the ass all the time because I do shit for companies where they pay me X amount of dollars when they should be paying me X amount of dollars.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, Patrick, we definitely covered A through Z, and if I was an Animaniac, I would sing that state song from A to Z. You've got Alaska, Baraska, Karlaska, the last. I don't even know.
Good reference.
But you know what I got?
I like that reference.
I've got season 1 through whatever it was, Animaniacs on DVD. My brother bought me for my birthday, so I'm gonna go and watch that tonight, and I will text you.
Text me that song, please.
For it. But I appreciate you coming on the Safe House. We have covered a lot, and I think it is very informative, and a lot of people are going to be enlightened by this.
So.
Any parting words? I'm parting the hairs. That's a Howard Stern reference. Not many people are going to get that one. Yeah. I'm parting the hairs.
To all promoters, I mean, this is my advice. I'm like I said, going back to what I said before. I'm a nobody. I'm never going to shit on anybody, but take pride in every aspect of your company, like from your graphics to your website to your shows to your fan experience. And to workers, stay humble and understand the journey that you go on. Because as many people tell you, when you get to the top, it's nowhere near what you think it's going to be. But the best part about making it to the top is the journey that you go on to get there. And if I may, like Patrick says, and I've learned this the hard way, it's always put your best foot forward. No matter what, give 110% and put everything you have into your product. And all that can be seen by simply just going to YouTube and searching Kirby Mack. All of my best matches are not on YouTube. All of my worst matches where I was like, it's 10 people in the crowd, nobody will ever see this. Always on YouTube. They're on YouTube. And that is all the world knows of Kirby Mack. YouTube is the devil. That is it. You hear me, Bobby? You hear me, Bobby? Bobby Boucher? So you know where we can find you? And you got parting words? Anything else? Thank you for having me. No, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Definitely. All right, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kirby Mack, the host of The Safe House. I have brought you all of this. Now you know my world. My 11th guest. Patrick Wright. I got it, man. I speak. It's, what's the word? I know. I threw out my real name out there at the last promos for the... suspensefully. Oh. Patrick. Turn this to a movie trailer? You know what? It doesn't matter. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. I want you to take a really good, hard swig of that orange juice and enjoy it. Peace. I have to take a piss.